Today, we're going to take a dive into the hardest question in relationships. Why do people cheat? We're going to explore the mindset of infidelity and the mindset of a cheater and what is really going on in their mind and learn to heal from their betrayal, to understand how to separate their actions from your worth and your value as a person. So if you're someone that's healing or dealing with betrayal in that area, and whether it's your relationship, whether it's your marriage, whatever it is, you're not perfect, but you're ready to overcome. You're ready to become you again. You're ready to see value in yourself again because of how they made you feel or how it's making you feel now. Let's get into it. So why do people cheat? I could list them all, but we'll be here all night. But before I mention these reasons, I want you to know these are reasons, not excuses. Okay? So there's no excuse for stepping out on a relationship or stepping out on a marriage and actually cheating and sleeping with someone else. There's no reason for that. But here are some of the excuses or there are reasons why someone would do so. The first reason I think would be not having their emotional needs met. When it comes to being in a relationship, having an emotional connection is very important. And if you're not taking the time to really get to know your significant other mentally and emotionally, someone else is. Someone else will. And men, I know it's hard for us to process emotions. I know it's hard for us to process feelings and this idea of saying what's bothering me, what's hurting me. But your lady needs to know. Same thing with the ladies. He needs to know what's going on. And both parties got to be open to receive that emotional conversation, that, hey, this is how I'm feeling conversation. Because it is very important to have emotional needs met in a relationship, especially when, for women, that's where it starts. It starts with the emotion. So, fellas, if you're not connecting with your lady emotionally, somebody else is. And ladies, if your man isn't connecting with you emotionally, find a way to connect with him. Because I'm pretty sure that work wife or whoever, she's found a reason or a way to connect for sure. Another reason why people would cheat is just the desire of validation. Sometimes just feeling validated, just feeling like things are real, things are going well in their life. The praise of someone else, the attention, I guess, of someone giving them the attention they need or that they feel they need. If you are not giving your significant other the attention, taking the time to tell them they look beautiful today or, hey, you look handsome today, whatever it is, if you're not giving them affirmations and validation, sometimes they could feel a little bit, left out, a little bit unseen, unheard, or they could feel like you guys are just roommates and the outside world treats them better than you. These are reasons, not excuses. Another reason I thought about would be the excitement, the desire of excitement. Now, this is where it gets interesting. When I think about the desire of excitement, I'm thinking more so from the thought of like, how did you guys meet? I'll go back to, back in my beginning, early dating stages of life. We met out and about, sneaking around, doing things. The excitement, the adrenaline that was coming from our bodies from going out and doing something we wasn't supposed to do. Getting that hotel room, whatever the case was. And then by the time we actually got together and didn't have to do those things, the excitement went away. It was kind of like, ah, I see you every day. It's all the same, right? I want to encourage you that if you're feeling that lack of excitement in your relationship, start dating again. Start going on dates together. Start, I mean, I know you guys may live together, but rent a hotel for a night. Just do something fun to get your adrenaline going. Have that conversation with one another and say, hey, what's something exciting we can do together? Because it is very easy to get trapped in this loophole cycle of everyday living and just passing each other by. Hi and bye, you're going to work, I'm going here, I'm taking care of the kids, you're doing this, and never have that time with one another. And over time, you start to lose excitement even about seeing each other. When you come home, it's, oh, hey, it's not even, you guys aren't even excited to see each other. There's just no excitement. You become roommates, right? So ask yourself, what are we doing that brings us excitement with one another? Again, these are reasons, not excuses. Another reason or excuse that someone would say or give as to why they stepped out or why they cheated would be fear of conflict. And I even take that a step further or in a different direction and say fear of commitment. Some people are afraid that it's actually going to work out. Some people are afraid that they just don't know how to commit to a happy person, a healthy relationship. Now, I cannot speak for everybody. I will speak for myself. But in my early 20s, it was hard for me to recognize I had a good thing because I was afraid to commit. Because in my lifetime, in my first marriage, some of the things I experienced just kind of broke my trust. So without healing from that and having the right people around me in that time in those seasons, I never gained the trust of a relationship because I was always expecting what happened before to happen again. So I never committed. And then when things started looking good, I was in fear of, oh, this is actually working out, or oh, this is actually giving me peace. But in my mind, I'm waiting for it to break me. I'm waiting for it to step out on me again. I'm waiting for it to crush my mindset and do everything that I'm expecting it to do. So think about that. If you're actually in a relationship and you have a fear of commitment or fear of conflict, I really challenge you to share that with that person, share it with a mentor before it generates a reaction out of you that could break the relationship for one. And it can make you do something you don't want to really do. So that's another reason. Um, Immaturity. They're just immature. They were never ready to be in a relationship anyway. You know, they're all about how many people they can, be with in a month or in a year anyway. They're not serious. They were never serious from the beginning. Um, they don't see value in you. They don't see value in themselves. They don't care. And that's just something you got to have spiritual discernment to be able to understand. Like, they just didn't care. They're just not a good person. So don't go blaming yourself on that. Another reason would be like just lack of accountability, just lack of taking ownership of things that they do wrong, things that they've um, overcommitted to, things that just have not uh, been a positive influence in their life. So um, you just got to be careful with that and have discernment when you're dealing with people who show lack of accountability, who play the blame game, who um, are constantly saying there's nothing exciting going on in the relationship. Just be careful. Be careful in those situations. Again, and I'm saying this because I know sometimes it can get when you've experienced being cheated on, when you hear these things, it starts to feel like an excuse. These are not true excuses. These are reasons. There is absolutely no excuse for what was done and what they do. This is just one of the reasons. And you may be sitting there like, why? Why could they? How could they? And I guarantee you, one of the reasons why is one of the reasons I listed off and mentioned here just a second ago. So, and if you can't find clarity in any of those reasons, I promise you, at the end of the day, as long as you can just pray and forgive, you'll be able to let it go and move forward in your life. I know things are not perfect, but you know you are ready to become and overcome this situation for sure. And this is what I'll say here to this, like, it is not about your worth, okay? It's not about your appearance, it's not about your enoughness. You know, cheating is a reflection of who they are and their choices, not necessarily your worth. So, even though it happened to you, it does not define you. Again, it's reflecting more of who they are and their choices, not your worth. So understand that. I know you've been telling yourself in your head ever since it happened that you're not worth anything. Uh, no one's ever going to love you. People are going to forever abuse you and use you. Let me tell you right now, let that go. Stop thinking like that. That is not true. What they did had nothing to do with you. It's all about who they are. And clearly, they were not for you. Clearly, they do not care for themselves or care about you. And that's okay because that did not diminish your worth and your value. You are still you, and you will overcome this issue for sure. And I I had to learn the hard way. It took me a long time. It took me about six. It took me about 6 months, I think. I'm pretty sure I have it in a journal, in one of my hundreds of journals. At that time, I just had to go back to that year and figure out. But it took me a minute to really let it go. And I'll say this: had I not isolated myself from people, I could have let it go a lot faster. Had I really taken the time to allow people to speak into my life who had experienced it before, I would have healed and overcame that a lot faster. But I chose to go out and fill the void. I chose to go out and just silence everyone's thoughts and everyone's opinions on what I should do, and just went out and did what I wanted to do. And the sad thing is, I kind of found myself doing to others what they did to me. And it was not intentional, but because I never healed from that, a part of me was like, what does that feel like? What does it feel like to be on the other side? And it wasn't fair and it wasn't right. And that's all because, with the saying, hurt people hurt people. I was hurt. Not not an excuse, but that was the reason behind it. So over time, I took the time to heal, to overcome, to allow what happened to me not define me, but give me an open eye and open ears to understand where I go from here, and to be able to recognize when this is happening again. So you got to get to that place where you are not living in the why. There's danger when you're living in the why of everything, right? You know, focusing too much on why can become like a mental prison. When you're sitting there thinking about all the things you guys have done together, so why could they do this? What was it? Was it the way, was it my cooking? Was it lack of sex? What was it? All the whys, right? What caused them to cheat? And I'm telling you, I've got like I believe 5 or 6 months of journaling on the why in prison, mentally. Why did this happen? Why is this going on? What did I do? How can I be better? Is someone ever going to love me again? Will this ever happen again? Like, can I get them back? All these different things, man. It becomes a prison. And you're going to keep replaying that pain over and over. And, like, healing begins when you stop making their choice your identity. When you stop allowing what they did to reflect who you are, that's when you will start to heal and things will start to reveal itself to you. You will develop the grace, you will develop the strength to move forward when the truth comes out. But you gotta stop letting what happened identify you. It's hard. I understand it. It is hard, but community, prayer, getting your word. If you're a believer, read your Bible. If you are a person who doesn't go to church, just seek a healthy community. But whatever you got to do, make sure it's healthy and it's growing you. It's not nothing negative. It's not going out and just sleeping with any and everybody. It's not just going party. It's not just filling the void with drinking, sex, or alcohol. It's really just growing yourself and finding your identity again outside of what happened to you. Because there's power in reclaiming yourself. Reclaiming your power after a betrayal is very, very important. Because not only does it bring you back to you, but it allows you to help someone else get through. It allows you to be able to share with someone else when you're recognizing that they're going through the same thing. And you know what to do. you know how to help them through it. So allow yourself to reclaim that power. You know, set clear boundaries for your future. Be able to have those tough conversations in the beginning if you start back dating. Have and allow yourself to trust again. You know, I believe once you have those tough conversations in the beginning, before you even start dating, it helps you learn to trust again because you're getting it out the way. You're allowing yourself to ask the right questions, to set those boundaries right away. And if they don't meet I won't say the requirements, but if they are not meeting you where you need to be and where you can see yourself growing with that person, hey, at least you got it out the way early, right? So again, like I said, learn to trust again, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve peace, and you have to choose growth over bitterness. So again, let me say that when it comes to learning to trust again, it's not because they deserve it. It's really because you deserve peace. And what you don't want to do is bring that distrust into the next relationship, because now your mind is going to go back to that prison of why, or are they doing this, are they doing that, and you're never going to see them for who they are. You're going to see them for who the other person was and what they did to you. So learn to trust again for your peace and choose growth over bitterness so that you can become better, not bitter, right? We could go into so many different things about that, but I don't want to impact all the things about why someone would cheat and how you can heal from it. But this is where I want to leave you with this episode. And if you need more, if you want to hear more, please leave comments below. Please reach out to me on YouTube or IG, or however you need to get a hold of me to let me know your questions, your comments, your thoughts, and I'll be happy to reach back out to you and maybe, use that information for the next episode. But I want to leave you with some affirmation because I always love leaving you guys with a word of wisdom or something, some encouragement. And today's affirmation is this: what they did is not who I am. I am still worthy. I am still loved. I am still becoming. Tell yourself that. What they did is not who I am. I am still worthy. I am still loved. And I am still becoming. Allow yourself to become and heal and grow. You got this. Got a little homework for you as well. This is just another thing that helped me after dealing with something like this, and I hope it helps you as well. But I'm encouraging you to uh, write down one belief about yourself that the betrayal made you question. Write it down. And then I want you to replace it with the truth. With a true statement that reflects your worth and your future. So how this goes is you'll write down one thing that it made you think. for me, it made me think that I was not enough. Made me think that, my love and support was not enough. And then the truth behind that, or how I would replace the truth behind that statement that reflects my worth in my future is I am more than enough. I am everything I need to be right now. I am still growing and I am still becoming. And my future is brighter than my past. I said something like that. But you get the gist of what I'm saying. So please write down what the betrayal had you thinking about yourself, and then replace it with the truth about yourself and your worth and your future. All right. Thank you guys once again for tuning into this episode of Why People Cheat. And I'm just so excited where we're going and how we're growing in this podcast. Again, this is not perfect, but ready podcast where we're just overcoming barriers and becoming the best version of ourselves. So thank you again. Tune in to next time. And remember, it's progress over perfection. I'll see you on the next one.